What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have 30 essential London tips in 9 minutes. There's a lot of tips to fit in 9 minutes, but we're here for it. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel or give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you would like to support this channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button to receive your exclusive benefits. Let's get right to it.
Welcome to London. Over the next minutes, I'm going to give you 30 essential tips that you need to know before you come here. And if it's your first time visiting London, I have a special freebie for you, so make sure you watch to the end of the video to get it. Okay, let's go.
The basics.
Okay, let's start with the basics. Despite being in Europe, we do not accept euros here. We use Great British pounds. So do not try to pay with euros or American dollars. Only pounds are accepted. We have pretty unique sockets here which take plugs that look like this. So if you're coming from almost any foreign country, you're going to need an adapter to be able to use your own device chargers in our sockets. Cars drive on the left side of the road here, so be careful when you're crossing, and in fact you can look to the pavement and it'll tell you which side of the road you should look to before you cross. The drinking age is 18 here in the UK, but if you go out with your parents, you can be 16 and have a drink. Most places will not ask for ID to get in, but it's a good idea to have one just in case, and especially if you think you might end up at a club.
I feel that. Have your ID ready. But I love that the drinking age is 18. I love that you can go out with your parents, though, and drink at 16. These are absolutely amazing things about London. And yeah, bring them pounds. No euros accepted there.
Let's talk about money. If somebody says a quid, that is slang for 1 pound. And if somebody says a fiver, that means 5 pounds. Yeah. And if they say a tenner, that's 10 pounds, obviously. Almost everywhere in London accepts credit and debit now, and in fact, loads of places are actually cashless, so you could definitely get away with exploring London with having little to no cash on you. But if you do want cash, exchange while you're back at home or use one of the many cash machines we have around the city. A lot of them are free to use, but your bank might charge you.
That's dope that they're actually free to use. Yeah, these banks love charge you for any little thing they can charge you for. So that part actually does suck. But and then the other money tips were just, I mean, they were kind of obvious, yeah. But I watch a lot of like British shows or UK shows, so 5 or 10 or, but it just makes sense that that'd be 5 pounds or 10 pounds. Quid, maybe you wouldn't know unless you watch UK, but yeah, quid kind of same thing as the pound.
Let's talk about tipping. If you go to a restaurant and a server takes your order at the table, you might notice on your bill that an optional service charge of 12.5% is added onto it. This is your tip. If no service charge is added onto your bill, then you can give the staff 10 to 12% if you're happy with the service by asking your server to charge the additional amount to your credit card, or by leaving cash, of course. If you go to a pub or a bar and you order drinks or food even at the bar, you do not have to tip. Of course, you can if you want to. No one's gonna say no to some free money, but it is definitely not expected.
Love that, love that, love that.
Sir, can you just sit here for... When taking a taxi, it's polite to add a tip by rounding up to the nearest pound. You can do this easily by paying directly to the black cab driver or in an app like Uber. For basically anything else, tips are not expected. Of course, if you want to give some extra money, no one's going to say no, and it will be appreciated, but you're not expected to give anything unless you do one of those free walking tours. They live off of those tips, so for sure, you got to tip on that one.
Then charge for it. You feel me? Charge for it. So there is something in the UK where people live essentially based off of tips. And that is the people who do the free walking tours. Okay, so that's very interesting. But yeah, I always see in so many videos, tipping isn't required in the UK because the workers are paid a fair wage. So me and tipping don't go hand in hand. I will, if I go out, I will tip. I don't enjoy it. I never will enjoy it because I'm giving away extra money. for nothing really. I guess for good service, but I could service myself and keep the money. I'd rather service myself and keep the money. But let's keep going. Okay, so we got tipping, we got money, and then we got kind of some tips I didn't know in the beginning. But transportation.
Let's talk about transportation. The best app to figure out how to get from point A to point B is City Mapper. Google Maps also works well too, but if you want to know the cost of each option for your journey, then City Mapper is the way to go. It covers bus, train, bike, taxi, all the options. You don't have to use an Oyster card to pay for public transportation in London. If you have a debit or credit card that has the contactless payment feature, or you have Apple Pay or Google Pay, you can use any of those methods to pay for transport in London. If you want to grab one of the iconic black cabs like this one, all you have to do is find one with the light on the top, put out your hand, and it should stop for you. Otherwise, you can use an app called Get, which works just like Uber, but only for black cabs. The cost of a tube ride in London depends on how many zones that you travel through. But there's a daily cap depending on how many zones you travel through for the entire day. If you stick to zones 1 and 2, which covers central London, the daily cap is £7.70, which means once you've taken £7.70 worth of rides on the tube, then all the rest of your tube rides, and your bus rides actually, are completely free. So make the most of it. If you want to cycle around London, we have a couple of different options. The most popular are our Santander bikes, which are our standard city bikes. But there's also lots of electric bikes that you can get around the city, which you can book through apps like Uber.
This is so freaking cool. I knew, of course, that London has absolutely amazing public transportation because it's part of the UK, which has great public transportation. City Mapper sounds like an incredible app where it's going to tell you how to get to point A to point B, no matter what kind of vehicle you are in, bike, train, bus, and it's going to tell you the cost of it. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, I just shout out to the public transportation in the UK. Have any of you guys actually ridden the black cabs? I'm sure they're expensive, or am I wrong? And then how is it taking a ride in it if you have?
Too much pressure. This is a zebra crossing or a zebra crossing. And if you see one of these, it means you're crossing the street that you can just walk because pedestrians have priority and cars and traffic must stop for you. That being said, definitely still check both ways just in case they decide not to. If you ever see a blue plaque on the side of a building, that means that something important happened in that property. For example, the one behind me says that this was the home of John Logie Bayard, who first demonstrated the first ever television in this property in 1926. These blue plaques are all over the city, so if you see one, make sure you run over to read it and see what happened in that place. When you see street signs in London, you might notice there are numbers and letters that are in red. This is the postcode of the area. The letters stand for north, south, east, and west, or C stands for central, and the number stands for how far away from the center of London that area or that street is. So behind us, this sign is WC2, which means West Central, and 2 is obviously very close to the center of London. Most intersections around the city will have a pedestrian light telling you if it's okay to go or not. But if it's safe while it's red, you're totally okay to go. Just please be very careful. Perfect.
I just follow the look both ways method. I'll just follow the look both ways. If I feel like I can get across, I'm gonna go across. If I can't, then I won't. But yeah, that's the method I usually end up going.
Cross, yes. Risk takers. If you see a station with this famous sign, that means it's a tube station. But if you see one with this sign, it means that it's an overground train station. And one with this sign means it's a bus station.
Of course. Accommodation.
Okay, let's talk about accommodation. The area you choose to stay in will have an impact on your trip. And I have guides that tell you about all of the areas of London. But to give you a very top line overview, Central London is most touristy, West London is the fanciest, East London is the most eclectic, North London has the best outdoor stuff, and South London is the most underrated. So make sure you know a bit about the area that you're planning to stay in before you book. So glamorous.
Which is y'all's favorite? North, south, east, or west? Which part of London would be your favorite? If you gotta make a choice. No option but to make a choice. What you pick?
In Piccadilly Circus. Hostels are the cheapest, most sociable, and probably least comfortable accommodation option when it comes to London, but we have them all over the city, and they're great for anybody who wants to stay here on a budget, especially for solo travelers, because you can book just a bed in a dormitory style room. Hotel prices can fluctuate here, so if you see something that you like, it's at a good price, and there's flexible cancellation, book it. You can always cancel it if you find something better, but generally speaking, prices go up and availability goes down the longer that you wait to book a hotel here, so jump on it. Of course, there are last-minute deals to be had, but why risk it? When it comes to Airbnb in London, I don't recommend it for many reasons, which I outlined in an article on my website, which I've linked in the description box. But the biggest ones are that it's negatively affecting our housing market, and also a lot of stuff can go wrong if you book an Airbnb here. And so we have tons of great apart hotel options, which are great alternatives, and I have a very good list of them, which again is linked in the description box of the video. Don't leave London if you're here for less than 7 days. It's gonna take you at least 2 to 3 days if you wanna do loads of the touristy stuff, but you've only just scratched the surface, and there's so much more to explore in this city. So don't be tempted to leave, stay here and explore more of it. Now,
Days, what's wrong with the Airbnb? I like an Airbnb. Why I can't do an Airbnb? Why does it negatively affect the housing market?
If you want even more tips for your first visit to London, then grab my free London 101 guide. It has everything that you need to know before you come. Just click the link in the description box or in the corner to get that completely for free. But also, I have tons of other YouTube videos about coming to London, so watch one of those by clicking the boxes popping up around me. Good morning from London. Nope.
That was a cool video to react to, and we just got 30 essential tips for traveling around London, so there you go. But that's all we have for this one. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe or get a video a thumbs up. I'll see y'all next time.